ancient talisman that could connect pagan orgies and human sacrifice to the birth of Christianity. It vanished with the rise of the Nazis. After Hitler's downfall, suspicions that it disappears behind the Iron Curtain. Now, one man wants to solve the mystery of the Orpheus Amulet. Orpheus was revered as a musician. Many images portray Orpheus playing his lyre to animals. Art historians believe that when Christianity became the Roman state religion, Orpheus synthesizes into Christ as the Good Shepherd. Guskin is intrigued by the potential connection between Orpheus and Christ, and now digs deeper into the legend. He contacts Bulgarian writer Ludm Filipova, who has written a book about the amulet and researched many of the locations connected with the legend.
I've been looking into the Orpheus amulet.
In Bulgaria we have a lot of evidence, like temples, which was for Orphic mysteries, and also one very interesting cave, which we called the Devil's Throat.
I think that you definitely have to come to Bulgaria to see this cave.
That's interesting.
Greek myth tells us Orpheus descended into the underworld. But the route he took, according to legend, was in an area of ancient Greece, which now lies within Bulgaria. Guskin lands in the Bulgarian capital of Sofia and heads south, deep into the Rhodope Mountains. Filipova has asked Guskin to make his way to the mouth of an ancient cave complex. This, according to legend, was the place where Orpheus descended into the underworld. Guskin arrives at the Trigrad Gorge, a canyon of marble rocks. At a gash in the side of a hill, he sees Filipova.
Wow, that really is an amazing drop down there.
This is the so-called Devil's Throat.
The Devil's Throat, that's a very ominous sounding name.
Exactly.
Okay.
Where, according to legends, Orpheus go in the underworld to save his wife.
Eurydice.
Exactly.
Orpheus is a mythic Greek hero, one of the Argonauts, known for the beauty of his voice. According to myth, he descended into Hades to rescue his dead wife, and while there, he was transformed.
At the beginning of his life, he was just amazing singer. Then he go in the underworld. He came back like a prophet.
He went in as a singer and came out as a prophet.
As a prophet, and bringing incredible knowledge and teaching Thracians of this knowledge of new religion.
It's a very early religion. Traces of graffiti referring to Orphics have been dated to the 5th century BC, the time of Socrates and Plato.
Could we follow in Orpheus's footsteps and go down?
Let's try. Follow me.
This natural underground labyrinth is extensive and dangerous. Steel grills have been built to prevent unauthorized entry. The descent is steep. Tunnels open up into caverns, which split into more tunnels.
It's quite slippy here. Careful, don't fall.
And through the caves flow ice-cold water. According to myth, these are the waters which divide the living from the dead. Filipova has arranged a guide. Geologist Dr. Yavor Shopov, an expert in the caves of Bulgaria, to help understand the mysteries surrounding this particular cave.
Hello, Doctor.
Oh, hello. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Would you like to see the river closer?
Yes, I would.
Oh, you're welcome. Be careful.
What made people think that this was the actual river flowing through the underworld?
From very ancient times, people mentioned that very large objects like trees fall from the surface and disappear here and never appear on the other side of the cave.
So these objects that fall in never come out on the other side?
Yes.
This underground stream has been linked to the fabled River Styx, the watery border between our world and the underworld, the house of Hades. God of the dead. But the amulet with the crucified man does not carry the name of Orpheus alone. The inscription is Orpheus, Bacchus. Once again, there is a local connection. Filipova leads Guskin higher up into the mountains, to the ruins of an ancient city. Perperikon, in southern Bulgaria, was once a magnificent city of stone, protected by fortified walls 3 meters thick. And still visible among the remains are altars. Once part of a temple dedicated to the god of wine and sexual ecstasy, known by the Greeks as Dionysus and by the Romans as Bacchus.
This is the main Dionysius altar. We think that they put here some wine, probably fire, and they execute some kind of rituals, trance.
This place is really amazing looking. What kind of rituals went on in places like this?
This is one of the most holy temple connected to Dionysius' mysteries and rituals, making even so-called Bacchae orgy.
Legend has it, this was once the scene of the most extraordinary sexual orgies and sacrifice, carried out in the name of Dionysus. According to myth, Orpheus became a disciple of Dionysus, but he abandoned this cult and declared Apollo, the god of reason and the intellect, to be the supreme god. But he was condemned for his heresy and suffered death at the hands of the female followers of Dionysus.
But all of these rituals with orgies, drinking, human sacrifice, it doesn't really seem to have too much to do with Christianity.
Orpheus came like a reformer, and he started to establish a new religion, new theology. The most important thing in his religion was teaching how people to make their soul immortal.
We don't hear too much nowadays about the Orphic religion. We don't even read too much about it in historical sources. Why didn't it survive? Why didn't it win many converts?
When Christianity came on Thracian lands, Christian apostles and priests, they was very ambitious to establish the new religion, which is normal. And step by step they start to change the name of the gods, of the rituals, of the place.
So what you're actually saying is that when Christianity appeared in these lands, it took over certain elements of the previous pagan religion and made them Christian.
Guskin finds similarities between the stories of Orpheus and Jesus Christ. But there's something that doesn't fit. Orpheus descended into Hades, whereas Christ ascended into heaven. Or did he? Guskin makes his way to Kardzali Church, further down the mountain. Orthodox Christianity, practiced in these parts, follow doctrines laid out in the ancient Apostles' Creed, one of the earliest statements of Christian belief. The Creed details an event known as the harrowing of hell, describing how, before ascending into heaven, Jesus first went down into hell to defeat the devil and release the righteous.
In the Orthodox Church, just as in all Christian churches across the world, people gather together every week to celebrate the death and resurrection of Christ, which is surprisingly similar to everything that we've seen about Orpheus, the descent into the underworld, the coming back again with a new kind of knowledge that's then transmitted to the believers in this new religion. The Orpheus Amulet could be very much linked to all of this. That mysterious figure of a crucified person. It's definitely a crucifixion on the amulet with the inscription that says it's actually Orpheus, a Bacchic Orpheus, would tend to further reinforce this link.
Whilst some believe that the Orpheus Amulet is a fake, its actual age has never been verified. It appears to be rooted in a centuries-old tradition. Orphic religion, which it represents, dates back to the 6th century BC. Could this mystery cult have been a source of inspiration for early Christians?